take a paper and start making me.
But yeah, we are looking at, you know, possibly picking up some more. You know, we do melons, we do almonds. I've been talking about melons, almonds. That's like the Super Bowl of beekeeping, so to speak. It is what everybody that is in the pollination rings is preparing for every year. I mean, that's what you look for all year long. You know, where most times what most people are thinking throughout the year is, man, I need to be a good honey location. I need to make sure they're making honey and this and that. The whole time that we're sitting in the fields, we're thinking, I need more frames of brood in here. I need this to be bigger and bigger. Because like I said, 8-frame hive is what it takes to go. It can be kind of tough to make that. But I want to send them 12, 14 frames. I want my almond grower, my watermelon grower, any of these growers. Number one, I want to be fair to them. I want to be more than fair to them. And I can do that by making sure that I've got healthy bees, that I've got big numbers of bees, and get a good name for myself too. You know, I mean, our income is based on our beekeeping business. So I need a name that says, hey, he'll do you a good job, he'll bring you something fair. I'll give you an example. Last year when we got ready to move into melons, one of my farmer that had 700 acres or 700 hives on him, on 350 acres, 2 hives an acre. I got there, unloaded everything, and I had, I don't know, 5, maybe 10 hives. They were a nuke, is what they were. And I went to him and I said, hey, I've got 5 or 10 over here in this yard that's not up to what I would call par. I said, probably be fine for somebody else. I said, but they're not what they should be. I said, I'm gonna drop some more. I said, so whenever you see extra boxes out there, don't think that you're getting charged for them. That's just to make up for what I know is not up to par. And that's, you know, that's the kind of reputation. If you're gonna do pollination, do it right. You know, don't say, well, I can get by with this. Because what you're gonna do is you're gonna bite yourself. Not only in the business aspect, but remember, you're under chemicals in pollination. You go in weak, you may or may not come out. You go in strong, most of the time you come out even stronger. You know, there's strength in numbers. It's never been more true than in those boxes.
When you say,
Oh, sorry.
when you say you pack up to go to California, can you describe what that's like? I'm a backyard beekeeper. I have no understanding of what it means to move hives from here to California.
Well,
First of all, they're on pallets.
First of all, you gotta take the long way around to get there. You gotta go south first. Okay, and I know this is a little bit of sidetrack, but I guess in a way it would fit in because you know, it's the whole circuit of being able to pollinate. So we come out of melons in, say, August. We're in there for 2 months. All of June, all of July, we come out the 1st of August. So at that time there, that's whenever we've got to make sure that we're feeding these hives up, feeding them up. And our hives are on 4-way pallets. You know, standard is either 4 or 6-way pallets, 2 pointing this way and 2 pointing this way, or 3 and 3. And you get 408 hives on a truck, 408 doubles on a 48-foot flat deck semi. So what we'll do is we'll come in and say we've got 48 hives in the yard. We start pulling them all into a holding yard. When we got them in that holding yard, then we call for the semi. Semi comes in. We stack everything in stacks of 3. So you've got a pallet of 4 hives, 4 hives, and 4 hives. You know, that stack is, I don't know what, about like that? So you stack a hive about to your height, and then you pick up the bottom one with the top 2 on it, and you set them on the semi. Now, it'll hold 408, which is 34 stacks, 17 rows, or is it 34 rows back?
No,
17 rows. 17 rows from front to back. So you think, well, that's no problem. It's a 48-foot long semi. We can fit all this on here. Don't count your chickens before they hatch, because you've got about that much room to play with. You've got about 1 inch between the front and the back. Whenever you get all 17 rows on there, you got a 1/2 inch in the front, and a 1/2 inch on the back. We start on a 1/2 inch off the very tip of the trailer, We finish out a 1/2 inch on the back. And that's smashing everything as you're going in. Speaking of smashing stuff, pollinating and moving your hives around, you're gonna tear your equipment up like crazy.
So how many hives are you getting on the truck again?
408 on a 48 flat deck.
408 hives.
Hives.
Okay.
And on a 48-foot drop deck, you can get 512, as long as you don't go overweight. You gotta remember, you gotta be able to scale through the scales, DOT scales up and down the road. So you put all those on there, and then you net the load. You've got nets that roll over and hang down, and then you staple them down around the edges.
Do you provide the nets, or does the truck company?
It all depends on your trucker. Our truck driver bought nets and is taking care of us on that. Of course, I've got nets on for our 10-wheeler and our smaller trucks and stuff like that. But he supplied the nets and the tie boards and everything.
Like the nets that we used to put even on our trailers at the house on the deck, the trailers, you can get them
Yep.
at Harbor Freight.
Shade tarps.
But the other
They work great.
kinds you have to
What
order.
parts?
Shade tarps. You know, if you're moving small amounts of bees, those shade tarps at Harbor Freight work great. They work great. But, you know, whenever they don't make a big enough shade tarp for a semi. So, you know, those nets are, you know, they're gonna run about $1,000 a set, just for the net to cover them with. So you net them, strap everything down. Whenever you strap down, and like I said, I know this is a little bit side, but
Do you load these at night?
we do.
Do you
We
use red lights?
It's best to use red lights. We've got red, we've got yellow lights. I use yellow lights a lot. The bees don't, it ain't as bad as using a white light, but the yellow lights, you'll still get burned up pretty good if you're the forklift driver. But and you know, y'all are laughing. How many stings do y'all usually get in your bees a day when you're in them?
5, 10.
Maybe.
Okay.
Let's go to what time of year it is.
Right. We consider it a great day if we can stay under 20 in a day. I mean, that's pretty well average, and at night, you just don't count. Bees crawl at night, so any hole that you've got, they go to. But yes, we do load at night. So you strap down, and then semi takes off, and then you've gotta be there to unload if you're not moving them yourself.
And you said go south to go. west.
Florida, Georgia,
Okay.
you know, anywhere south, the farther south, the better. I mean, you can make bees in the south. You can keep them alive better down there for the winter. Just because, now, if we wasn't planning on going to Almond, sure, we could stay around here and keep hives alive, maybe. You know, not the number that you keep alive down there when they can fly and work some, but, you know, there are people successfully overwinter here all the time. I'm sure many of you do. I'm not real good at it. That's why I go south. Go ahead.
So, did you buy property down there, or do you
No, just
lease
beg
it?
and borrow.
Okay.
Beg and borrow. You know, honey does a lot of persuading for people. It's a good bargaining tool. But anyway, we haul our bees down there. So you started up here, you went south. Now they're gonna sit there. We just hauled down over the past 3 weeks. We've been in Mississippi every week, getting everything down there. So we're gonna sit down there and just maintain and try to build what we can, feed, keep them healthy until mid-January. Mid-January, we're gonna go through, we're gonna start grading our own hives. If they won't make my grade, then I know they won't make theirs. Or they may make theirs, because I'm harder on my stuff than they are probably. But most contracts, you can get them 2 ways. Most contracts are gonna be worded either an 8-frame average or an 8-frame minimum. There's night and day difference between those two. Night and day. So, okay, let's just say you got a load of 10 hives, just to make it simple. 10 hives, you've got 6 of them that are 6-framers, and you've got 4 of them that are 12-framers. You'll make the 8-frame average. You won't make the 8-frame minimum. They're gonna reject the load. You're gonna be out $7,800 for the trip out, $7,800 for the trip back, and not make a paycheck. So, you know, that gives you an idea of how important it is to be able to keep big hives, to be able to make grade. On the way out there, you're gonna lose bees. You know, if you've never seen dead bees, don't follow the truck and watch them unload it, because the deck's gonna have a lot of dead bees on it. On the trip out to California, you're gonna lose about 1 frame to 1.5 frames of bees per colony. is what you can figure your loss is.
Is that from Florida?
Yeah, Florida, Mississippi, probably not gonna be much difference, but count on that. Whenever you grade your hives, you know, if you're gonna look at making this journey, whenever you grade your hives, if it's an 8 frame, figure it's gonna be at least a 7 frame by the time it gets there. You better have enough brood in there to make up for it that's gonna hatch out, or you better have an extra frame worth of bees in there, because you are gonna go backwards on the truck. There's no doubt.
Do you cage your queen, or does she manage to withstand the roughness of the
No,
ride?
you don't cage queens. I mean, do you wanna go catch 400 queens?
Well, no.
You know, that's, no, you're gonna lose some of them.
Yeah.
And, you know, like on the road to Mississippi, whatever we lost, we'll go through and we'll pop another queen in. You know, queens are disposable. You know, I know $30 sounds like a lot for a queen, but, that's disposable. I mean, I don't know of a better way to word that other than just that, they're disposable. Right. Just think about it this way. We come in the spring and we go to canola and make a honey crop. We go into that honey crop or into that canola knowing that the canola honey is gonna come, or nectar is gonna come in so fast that over 50% of our queens are gonna be dead. Because what's gonna happen is they're gonna plug that brood nest and they're gonna go, oh, she's not doing her job. Let's kill her, with nothing to fix the problem with. There's no eggs in there because they've done plugged all the holes where she was laying eggs. So we go into canola knowing we're gonna be out a $30 queen for 50% of these hives or more. But you look at it like this, you go, okay, $30 or $250 or more worth of honey. I don't know, if somebody's offering you $30 or $250, which one will you take? We make our living off that. We take the $250 and put the queens back in when we're done.
Can you talk a little bit about the canola, as far as hives per acre, price that you're in them for and stuff like that?
You don't get anything off of them. Canola is not a paid crop. It's for your benefit and your benefit only. They'll actually benefit 5-10% increase, yield increase. They're not gonna pay you for that.
So it's the honey crop.
It's the honey crop that you're after in canola.
What about hives per acre? You just put it
As
in-
many as you can stack. It comes in that fast. Our yards last year was 200 hives in a spot not much bigger than this room.
How many acres was that?
One of them was a couple hundred. I mean, I wouldn't be afraid to put 3 or 4 hives to an acre. I mean,
You
there's
just stack
that
them.
much.
You just stack the supers on?
Yep. Stack of supers to them, put your excluders on and stack like crazy. Cause they're gonna fill them. I mean, it comes in like water. And like I said, be ready, cause your queens are gonna be dead. They'll get rid of them.
So you can't stack enough super on there to keep them from filling up the brood chamber?
It comes in too fast. They
Yeah.
plug that brood nest before they can get it up. You know, just like through the day on any honey flow, they're going to the fastest cell they can go to so they can go get the next load. It's like they're a trucker and they're paid by the mile. You wanna dump that load and run some more miles.
So dumb question, somebody was mentioning about putting supers on the bottom instead of the top of canola.
On the bottom of the hive?
Yeah, in canola.
Right, I don't know.
I just heard that a little while ago, that was one of the ways they were doing it. So, because they were bringing it in as fast as they could.
I think it's a great idea. Whether it would work or not, I don't know, because their tendency is to move honey up. What's your thoughts on that, Chris?
It's easy to do on 10, 15 hives, next to impossible to do on 200 plus hives.
Yeah.
You know, you're going in with double deeps, lifting both those double deeps up, put honey supers on, and then you gotta put enough on to make sure that they don't get overcrowded. And they will fill it up, but they will have to force them to go down, because bees naturally build up. If you got drawn comb, that's to your advantage. If you're like most people that just have plain foundation and you're supering with just plain foundation, they're gonna plug that brood chamber up, like he's saying, before they start drawing that comb out at the top, because it's easier to plug that up than it is to draw comb.
What about like extracting it? I've always heard it crystallizes.
Get it off and get it extracted. Just as soon
Get it.
as the petals fall, get out and get the honey out. Cause it's a lot easier to
And y'all pump
reconstitute in
it.
a barrel than it is in a cone.
And y'all pump it in a barrel and then
Yep.
warm it up and bottle it.
Yep, that's how we do it. Back to the almond pollination. So you're trucked out there, figure on you lost a frame of bees.
This is January.
This is January, or February 1st, you better be sitting out there, cause that's pretty well when most of them want you in there. You're gonna be there from about February 1st to middle of March, depending on how rainy the season is and how fast the bloom comes and goes. And it varies year to year. Last year, we didn't get our hives back until the last day of March. Which was late, you know, we thought, we've done been took, we ain't getting no bees back, we're gonna start all over, but they came back and we got paid, and it was a good experience, but it's not always that way. I don't know how many, horror stories we've heard, but, you know, bees get stung by the semi-load, they don't steal one or two hives out there. They come in and a semi-load's gone, not to be seen again.
Just thieves coming in, stealing the hives, okay.
Yeah, other beekeepers, bad year, their mortgage is dependent on it, you know, a lot of that kind of stuff happens, their mortgage is dependent on it. If I don't get this pollination contract, I'm sunk, I lose everything I've got. They go to desperate measures, they've got the equipment, I mean, they are beekeepers.
Yeah.
They've run in, hour and a half, a semi-load of bees is gone, not to be seen again.
Do you brand any of your stuff?
All of my stuff's branded.
Even the frames?
No, frames are not.
Just
But,
boxes?
you know, and that's what they'll do, is they'll take it, your boxes will get burnt, and they'll throw them in their boxes and roll on.
So, about that coming in fast to the supers and all, did you ever drill any holes in the face of the super or 1 inch hole for the bees?
We've had a few that's had holes in it, it wasn't something that I've drilled in, most of them were rotten holes and corners gone, but we have had that, and they do use it, and I would say it probably helps. But overall, it's just, canola's a really fast flow. You know, we've heard of other big commercial people that have caged queens, you know, like what you was asking about, but it's just not, it's not time efficient, you know. Best thing you can do, you're coming out of almonds, so you've got a queen that's last fall's queen at the earliest. So if it's gone, then just use it as, hey, it was time to requeen. Like I say, I mean, a $30 queen's nothing whenever you're looking at the amount of honey that you're gonna make off of that crop.
Canola honey will crystallize rather fast.
Yeah, usually within about 2 weeks.
What you wanna call it. What did you do, how you can handle that, where you say you've got 200 hives out there? Do you put it in a barrel and put a heater on it?
Just put it in a barrel and let it crystallize. When you need it, then warm it back up and it'll go back to liquid. And a lot of times what we'll do with our canola honey is we'll take it with our other spring honey or even some fall honey. Say if we get some real dark fall honey and we've got the canola, we may blend them. You know, it's gonna speed this one up, but it's gonna slow this one down on crystallizing. You know, we don't try to keep our fall and our canola and our spring and our Mississippi and our Kentucky, we don't try to keep anything separate. I'm not gonna keep anything separate. It's not in the cards. It's all gonna go in the barrel, and however it comes out, if I've got a real dark barrel, you know, we usually try to barrel about two barrels, bottle about 2 barrels at a time. If one of them's really dark and one of them's really light, then I'm gonna put them in the bulk tank, blend them, and then run them through the filter system and bottle them. You know, to get a nice color, nice taste, and something that doesn't crystallize on people real fast. You know, I'm not gonna try to keep everything separate and have a bunch of different labels that's gonna wind up getting me in trouble. My honey's called honey. That's it.
When you get your hives back from California, you've taken up at least a deep per, each hive is a deep when you go to California, right?
I send doubles.
You send doubles. Okay. When do you put anything on in California, 3 or 4 supers, or what do you put on in California? Nothing. So they come out of California, they're double deeps, and they're full of bees and nectar.
Whenever they come back, what hadn't already swarmed, you're gonna have some that swarm right there. I mean, it's just, you're not gonna be able to do not do it. If you wanna stay out there with them and manage them that close out there, then you could, but that's the only vacation we have a year, is to get away from the bees, is whenever they're out there. So, you know, we count it good and say our prayers and put it in God's hands. You know, whatever we get back, praise Him for it, and be very thankful for it. But what our experience was last year, we sent good bees out, we got great bees back. And when I say great bees, I'm talking 8-10 frames of brood in each one of them, when it came back. And boxes that when you'd open the lid, they'd just run over like a volcano. So when we come back, the first thing we do is go out, set up a holding yard, and we're splitting like you ain't ever seen. You know, we'll split a couple hundred hives a day. Is when we was making splits, we was doing about a couple hundred splits a day. So taking 100 hives, making 200 in a day, and then come back and move them that night into yards of 48, scatter them out for a honey crop because they're ready for it. And that's the only time of the year that we run singles, is during that, right after that split for that honey crop, because you got a single that's busted and got more brood that's ready to hatch. This thing's gonna be a double in like 3 days. So you put that excluder on, you put those supers on, and they start packing the honey like you wouldn't believe as soon as they get a blow. But if you don't get them split right out of almonds, first warm day, they're gonna be in the trees. I mean, it ain't gonna take long. Last year we were splitting, or year before last, no, last year and year before last, we were splitting mid-March, late March, on days that, the year before when we bought those bees out of almonds, it was mid-March. Last year 'cause they didn't come back till last year was the very last of March, and you know, you're splitting 40 and 50 degrees outside, making splits, you know, unheard of. But if you don't, the first day that it hits 60 and the sun's shining, guess where they're gonna be?
In the tree.
They're gonna split, and you don't get the benefits of it. So you're better off to split them.
What's the